Hello YouTube. If you know me, if you've been following my contents, you know I'm an advertiser at heart. My first skill set I've ever developed is media buying, especially with Meta. And I've been working on this video for almost a year, testing a bunch of stuff. And today I'm ready to share with you how I scaled this client's ad account to over $1 million in spend post Andromeda, and it almost broke me. Before we start, let's start with proof. So this is a screenshot of their ad account. If I bring it to the side, cool. So you can see $1,110,000 in a spend. It's the screenshot from the ad account. And today what I want to do is to kind of talk about the barriers I hit when I wanted to scale it, when Andromeda hits, how we managed to kind of get around it, and all the campaign structure testing and all the like myths and like strategies that all the gurus are talking about. Which one of them are correct? Which one of them are not? And is Meta telling you the truth? Because Meta is obviously have a guideline of how the platform works. Is it right? Should you follow it? Should you not? So I'm going to break all of it down in this video. For you to understand what $1 million in ad spend really mean, I gotta be very honest with you. It's very hard. The pressure that it brings, it's a pressure that you gotta obviously handle because things fatigue, things break more often. With the level of a spend that you have on a daily basis, you gotta always be proactive, come up with new creatives, copies, different campaign structures, multiple daily optimization to make the campaign somewhat sustainable. But the real problem to us happened when Andromeda update came out. It was like last year. And we started to see things are breaking in a way that we've never seen before. And things started to break more often. So like when we have a proven concept and we kind of launch it in the ads, it dies after like 2 to 3 days. And we started to feeling our cost per appointments, cost per leads, and everything is going to the roof without us really understanding why. Obviously, Meta released a guideline on, what Andromeda is and, when it comes, what happens. But we didn't really see the impact of it hitting all of our accounts in the same time. Some of our accounts went up to like December with no impact, and some of our accounts started to get the impact right away. So for us to have a bit of a adjustment to the new way of advertising, it took us a little bit of a time. If you don't know much about Andromeda is pretty much an update in plain English to kind of like remove all the jargons. Meta basically changed the way that it's going to show your ads to your target audience. So the creative becomes your new targeting, and you got to go with more volume and quality of creatives to really give the ad accounts and the platform what it needs, because the line between content marketing and advertising is pretty much, it's gone. They kind of like they have an infusion. So the way you gotta advertise is also gonna be changed, otherwise you're gonna fall behind and your campaign's gonna break. But here's what I've learned. I started testing a lot. With the budget that I have, I had the flexibility to test as much as I want, test different campaign structures, creative methods. And here's what I learned. I follow a lot of advertisers in Instagram, in Facebook, in YouTube, and I think advertisers got divided into two groups: the new generation and old school. The new generation advertisers, they started to experiment with the fact that campaign structure don't matter anymore. So you don't need campaign structure, and it's all about creatives, right? So that's kind of new gen. It's all about creatives. No one cares if you have like 3 campaigns or 1 campaign or what ad set. No one cares, right? And you don't need to target people anymore. So targeting is dead. So it's all about like open targeting, Advantage Plus to kind of put all of your creatives and let Meta to go and find whoever is your target market. I tested this method, right? And I tested this against the other ways, which is the old school way. Old school way still believes that campaign structure matters. Targeting, audience targeting still matters. Creative is important, but quality over quantity, with a systemized approach in video and banner ad production. So there are 2 different schools of like advertising, and I'm old school, but I still tested it. So we put 2 campaigns together, especially on this ad account. So we put 2 types of campaign against each other. 1 campaign, open targeting, and 10 to 15 creatives. and we put this against one campaign, 3 ad sets, right? Or like more multiple ad sets. They're going after different targeting, like one open, interest, one, interest two. And in each, we put around 3 creatives, 3 to like 4 creatives. This is the result that we got. Cost per appointment for one single, 380 plus per booking. Cost per traditional way, the old school way, $180 per appointment. So what I learned really quick when I started testing after Andromeda is that I have to continue the way that I'm doing. Campaign structure is very important, but why is it that my campaign is breaking all the time? What do I need to do to make sure that this traditional way of advertising that I know it works through my testing can be sustainable? Because at the time, I was getting the bookings, but it was breaking all the time and it wasn't sustainable for the business. Especially if you're working with a business with like multiple salespeople, they want to see the calendars full. And you just got to find a way to make it sustainable in that level of ad spend. So the first thing I did, and this is obviously I listened to the platform. I said like I don't like volume of ads, but in that spend level, you need to have a system in place to be able to produce around like 15 to 20 ads a month, at least a month. Like I know some advertisers saying you need like 15 to 20 a week, but I would say for like lead generation campaign like that, with that level of a spend, we did around 15 to 20 creative a month. And this is the combination of videos, B-rolls, and banner ads, right? So 3 types, which obviously they're using different types of creative is what platform wants. But we started to batch the creatives. So we started batching them. When I say batching them, there are 2 ways to batch the creatives. With the content type, which is B-roll, banner, videos, or even any different types that you have. You can run carousels, you can run like screenshots, whatever. And batching them based on the messaging. We started batching them in the ad sets. So instead of having like one campaign with their ad set and they have like 3 ads, one of them is like image, another one is video, and another one is kind of B-roll. Each of them are talking a different angle. Like one of them is talking about the angle of like save tax. Like let's just consider an example of a property business. Save tax through property. Another angle is build wealth through property. Another one is replace your income through property. Instead of doing that, we started doing this. Campaign, their ad set, video 1, video 2, video 3, all talking about one subject, which is tax. That's what we did. So we batch them based on the messaging. We batch them based on the content type. So batching them based on the messaging and content type was the first thing that we've done to achieve sustainability, and it started to work. So we still appreciate campaign structure. We still went with our rapid fire testing structures and multiple ad sets in one campaign, and we started batching the content in those ad sets to be able to create sustainability. We use creative volume as a supply, not as a main thing that we are relying on completely. And I had an opportunity to compete against 2 different media buyers across 2 different campaigns that I was working with this year. And we beat them both, but they were very heavy with content volume. But what we started to do is we use content volume as a supply and still focus on the quality of content. So a lot of the videos that we do, they're like pro shoots. We send our video guy to the client side, we get like pro shoot done. Write a scripting, professional edit. So even with the B-rolls and banner ads, the designs are like slick, So we do quality of creative over quantity, but we're going to use quantity as a supply. So we are still generating volume, but we want to make sure majority of that creative volume is quality. It's professional shoots. It's like quality type content, because that's what Meta wants to see. And the last thing that I started testing is cool. Like I want to scale the ad budget, because obviously you stabilize everything on a certain level. How you gonna scale it? Post Andromeda, we started to combine combine two ways of scaling, which is horizontal and vertical, right? So vertical being increasing the budget on your ad sets and campaigns that they're already performing well. So you increase those budget by like 20% a day, and that's vertical scaling. Now, horizontal scaling is cool. You have ad set 1 and ad set 2 performing. Let's launch the same creative that they're working with different targeting. So we launch like ad set 3, ad set 4, ad set 5 with the same creative and give each of them a certain budget, right? So this is what we call horizontal scaling. So you're adding more campaigns or adding more ad sets to a scale in comparison to vertical scaling, which is increasing the budget across what's working. I realize if I just rely on vertical scaling, the campaign breaks. But when I combine horizontal and vertical scaling, that's where we're crushing it. And campaign grows in budget spend while sustain the results. So your cost per lead, cost per appointment doesn't go to the roof. So we started doing them together. So if I want to take that ad spend from like 2K to like 5K in 3 days time, I'm going to vertically increase and I'm going to horizontally increase to be able to get to that 5K a day ad budget as soon as possible. So these are the 3 pillars that I pull, after post Andromeda to be able to get this account to 1 mil. So just to kind of recap it, we use content volume as a supply. We put quality over quantity. Pillar 2 is campaign structure that still matters. Audience targeting is not dead. Open plus targeting is one of your options. There are other different targetings that you can do. And the last one is when you scale it, you got to combine horizontal and vertical scaling together as kind of dual strategy. Now, your question might be, cool, I'll put all these creatives under the ad set. How much budget do I need to give each ad set? I normally try to allocate around $50 to $100 per creative. So if I have an ad set, obviously we're talking about like high spend accounts, and there are like 3 ads in there, I give this ad set around $150 spend per day to be able to gather the data in 24 to 48 hours to see like if the campaign works, if the ad set works, if the creative works. As a media buyer, I believe if something is going to work, they're going to work. Obviously, you don't want to touch things quickly, but if something wants to work, they're going to work, at least in the first 4 days of launching. So I have a rule of thumb. I put around like $50 per ad, so I can gather enough data in high spend budget. Here you have it, guys. 3 lessons I learned post Andromeda to scale an ad account to $1 million per spend. And if you want to learn more about the strategies we use, the ad templates we use, I compile a lot of the things that we obviously test in our company in a free lead generation playbook. I put it below this video. It's free. Opt in, get the guide. Hopefully you can get some value out of it. If you feel it's too complicated and you want to implement a bunch of stuff, and you always can reach out to me directly through my socials or put your question under this video. See you on the next training.